Tim Hensley here with the Urban Homestead. Our website is www.oldvaapples.com, and I wanted to do another demonstration, grafting demonstration of a second method for grafting, and it's the Cleft Graft. And this will come in handy if let's say that your scion wood is quite small, like this. Here are some horse apple scions, and you have rootstocks that are pretty sizable. This is a 1/4 inch and a little bit more, and so the scion from this horse apple is just not going to join up. Even the biggest part of this is not going to join very well at all. And so what we'll do is we will use it won't join it if we're going to do a whip and tongue. And so what we'll have to do is a cleft graft instead to make use of this small wood. And I'm going to put this horse apple back because I'm working with some Betsy Deaton here, and I have some small Betsy Deaton wood actually that I can use to demonstrate this. But here we will we'll cut this stock back to its pretty large diameter, and then I take the grafting knife and cut across the top of the and get that to go down maybe an inch or so. And so just a straight cut down into the right down into the stock. And then I take a small piece of my graft wood, and here you cut a wedge. You make one pass on this side, you make one pass on this side, and the wedge needs to be, one side of the wedge needs to be thicker than the other. And so when you make those passes, you keep that in mind, which side is the narrow side, which side is the wide side of the wedge. And here's the wide side, and here is the narrow side of this wedge. And what that does is allow you to insert when you insert the wood, the scion, into the root stock. I'm going to trim this up because some of this is very soft here at the end. Trim these soft pieces off so I can put this into the scion, or into the rootstock. And might have to pull that apart a little bit with your thumb. Actually, I'm going to have to use a knife to get this back open. It's not especially flexible. And now I've got it started. The wide side of the wedge is on the outside, and I try to line up the cambium again, and I push this down into here. It should be good and tight, and it makes a nice tight joint. And there is it goes in like this, and on this side it is gapped. It's gapped entirely, and we have to fill this with grafting wax. And pardon me while I get hold of our wax here. This is Gachel's grafting wax. It's sort of like a florist putty, and I use this for this sort of graft because it doesn't stick to you. If you use the grafting sealant, that stuff is so sticky. If you try to put that on here and then go back to work, it'll take you half an hour you'll have to wash your hands, and it'll take a half hour to get that stuff off of you. It's meant to be applied with a brush. But this putty, sort of like a Play-Doh consistency, will fill that gap up very nicely. And then I'm going to put a pass around here with a bit of grafting tape, and that would actually work fairly well as it is. But here now I'm going to seal this cleft graft with our parafilm. Put it on here, and it adheres and conforms to the bumps of the wood and so forth. So we stretch this out, and it seals that up nicely. And now I cut to 2 buds. And we'll put this Betsy Deaton here in the pile. And later, after we bundle all the grafts, then we'll come back and paint the top of the graft. Here's one I did earlier, a whip and tongue. You can see the green wood. And it's recommended that you seal this. I've had them do fine without sealing it, but everyone says you ought to, and I'm not going to risk not doing that. So there are grafting sealants that you can use for this, specifically made for that. I just take some white latex paint, and we get our grafts sealed. The tip cut, seal it off just with this simple brush, and put a little dauble of white paint on there, and it seals it up nicely. So there is the cleft graft, and I'll do one more video momentarily on the saddle graft.